And I want to emphasize shape in this design. So these are the flowers, right? I mean, you can do anything you want. So I'm just going to come over with a bit of a darker line and maybe change some of the shapes. But anyways, it was a bit hard for me to just think in terms of shape. I was trying to make things look pretty realistic. So it might be a bit challenging for you, but so I want to make, that's the petal, right? And I'm trying to make it look like petals, but also look like a shape. And I'm going to make shapes in the petal. Again, you can use any media you want, including digital. I'm taking my time. I'm not used to making things like this that are a bit more abstracted. So I'm just kind of taking my time so it doesn't look kind of like weird, you know? And, you know, again, these are practice things. You never know how they're going to turn out. They may turn out really excellent, but they may not. So you just do your best, right? But you may need to do, like before I came to this flower pot, I tried to do a person. And I started the video and I did like a video of the person with little shapes in the person, and it just didn't look right. So again, you might stop and start. You might have a few tries before you get to something that might be viable. And that's natural. That's normal. And the people that keep doing it and keep pushing until they get something they like are the people that make good artwork and become successful, right? So you have to have patience when you're doing this. I mean, I don't think this is excellent, but it looks better than what I tried before. I'll actually show you. So I was trying to do a person, and like I drew the figure, and then I was like trying to make shapes on the person, but I just think it just didn't really look like a shape design. It looked more like a drawing that I was trying to force shapes into. So I started over. Okay. I'm taking my time with this. And it's simple. Like the other one, the person that I was making was maybe a little bit too complicated, right? The shapes were too small. And I was trying to force shapes into a drawing instead of making a drawing based on shapes. Which is understandable because it's not really something I usually think about when I'm drawing. I'm usually trying to be somewhat realistic, but I want to think about shape first when I'm doing this. I'm pressing hard, but not too hard because I think I might need to go over it. I'm thinking as I'm drawing, so do I want to make smaller petals? These are petals that are overlapping the larger petals. Let me try one and see how it works out. Yeah, I do like that. So I'm going to put one over here. It's a slow process. Art is a slow process. And you learn while you're working. Do I want to make one right here? So I'm always like, I'm talking out loud just to kind of, so you would see the thinking process that someone goes through when they're working. It doesn't just appear like perfectly, you know, you're always thinking, you're always changing. And that, I think those overlapping petals make it look even better. So I'm trying to do this in phases, like kind of the drawing phase, the coloring phase. You can do things in black and white if you want. I just have the tendency to do them in color because I like color. Let me see. I'll go a couple more minutes with this video, then I'll probably finish it up, and then I'll do one where I'm coloring it. So I have leaves too. But you see, I'm trying not to speed through this process, right? And that's what makes you able to make a really nice piece of art. And that's like the middle part of the leaf. I want to make dynamic shapes. I think some of the things I'm going to put shapes in and some of them I am not. I want to make the shapes work with each other. This is the side of the flower pot. Do I want to make, one question I've been asking myself is, do I want to make shapes in this pot? Like, do I want this part to be really busy and this part to be really plain, or do I want it all to be busy? You know, that's like, because say I make a lot of shapes in this, that could make the whole thing too busy, right? So just something I'm thinking about. That looks fine. Okay, so I don't want this video to go over 30 minutes. So I'm going to come up here and look at this. I tried to make a different kind of flower up here. So I actually looked at a picture of a flower pot online. I just looked up flower pots and that's how I kind of got my ideas, but this is unrecognizable from the flower pot I looked at. I just chose a few different types of flowers in the flower pot and then put them on here in different kind of ways and then invented some flowers as well. So again, I use pictures as reference, but I do change them quite a bit. The reason that I'm telling you that is, like, say you used a picture as a reference. I know I repeat this a lot, and it looked a lot like the picture, and you tried to show it at an art gallery or enter it into a competition. They could say that it looks too much like the picture and that you were plagiarizing, right? So if it's a photograph or another piece of artwork, you need to change it so it's not recognizable. Do I want these with shapes on them? Let's see. Or do they look better just plain? I'm kind of thinking they might look better just plain. Again, a lot of changing and moving around before you get to your final product. And like, I want to leave, like this one I left kind of, since I have all these detailed shapes in here, I left this kind of big one over here because I want to have a variation between like detail stuff and big blocks of shape, if that makes sense. Okay. Like if I made it all like with little tiny shapes, I mean, that would be a different design, but would that be too excessive in the little shapes, right? That's what I'm trying to ask myself. Okay, there's another flower right here. I'm making it a little bigger. I might do, see how there's these circles here? Those are supposed to represent little tiny flowers. But I'm thinking of doing a series of them popping in and out over the design. So any hand colored pencils, I put a bee at the top, and I'm thinking of putting some butterflies and more bugs in here. Maybe a sun, maybe a rainbow. I don't know, but I'm going to start doing some of the coloring right now. Okay, so I'm just taking a look at some of the markers. I want this to be maybe a bright red and pink. I'm thinking of, like, I'm kind of looking at the flowers and thinking to myself, what colors do I want them to be? Maybe I'll actually start with some greens for the leaves, because I know I'm going to want them green. Again, you don't have to use realistic colors, right? You could do the leaf pink if you wanted to, right? Because you're having fun and we're being creative. So my goal, like for these steps here, for these things with patterns, I was thinking of, I mean, it may change going from dark up to light. And I was thinking of, so I don't want to put that same color right here because that'll be too similar, right? So I want to you know, put color in contrast to each other. And I'm also thinking of using color theory to like put contrast and complementary colors next to each other. Again, this is just an example. You do your own interpretation of the assignment. Sorry, there's noise outside. Hopefully you can't really hear it too much. So this is going to take me a while. I'm going to make this a larger shape, so I'm filling in 2 of these shapes. I just think it will look better. These markers are kind of old. Okay. So I'm just looking at my different greens that I have in marker. So I might do some marker and some colored pencil. It's kind of an army green. That'll work. My goal is to use a lot of different greens in the leaves. Oh, I could have used the dark green right there because they're not touching. And right there. I'm seeing other places. Hold on. Again, I don't know how this is going to turn out. It's going to be a process. Okay, so I'm going back to the army green. Oops, I forgot one. Just thinking to myself, looking at the colors and thinking. You can make a plan, but your design might change. While you're working. Let's do this one in the army. So when I'm doing this, so I made a bunch of shapes and now I'm trying to pay attention to how they're looking in terms of where I'm placing the colors that I'm using next to each other, right? But you can also do it in black and white, and in that case you would be doing value. Let me see what this looks like. Oh, that's a different one. Let me try one. That's more of a bright green. I'll go for it. So I'm just gonna, I'm gonna focus on one group of things at a time. So right now I'm focusing on leaves. But you know what I just thought of? You're seeing the thought processes of what an artist goes through. If I wanted to do circles over different parts of it, since I'm putting down really dark, dense colors, I would either have to do it in acrylic paint or cut out pieces of collage and put them on top of the image. So this is going to be a time-consuming process. Do I want this right here or right here? I'm just thinking to myself. Let's go right here. And I'm going to see what other greens I have. It's the one I just used. So I'm going to delve into some colored pencils because I don't have that many different markers. These are pretty old markers. I want a yellow green and maybe a kind of a seafoam green. Hold on. There's a yellow green, and I know I have like kind of a sea green in here somewhere. There. Okay, it's kind of a green blue. Let's go with this. Okay, so I want to have some lighter greens, right? Because the greens I put down are pretty dark. So I'm gonna come in here with, have quite a few different greens here. Let's try this and just see how it looks. Put that right here. And let's go right here with this. So as I'm doing this, I'm looking at the relationship between the different greens. I knew that putting the different greens together would make kind of like an interesting design. And they would play off each other. And I'm hoping that they play off the color of the flowers as well. This is more of a bluish kind of green. It's still green, but it's heading towards turquoise. And I'm just seeing what happens, right? I mean, I can't plan out a perfect design. I plan as much as I can, and then I let it happen while I'm doing it. So there's a happy medium between planning and letting it happen when you're doing it, right? Let's make this a little higher. Okay. Now I'm going to go for the yellow green. Okay, I'm looking for my eraser. I just want to erase some of this pencil line under here. I think the leaves are looking pretty good. I may actually put in a yellow. I haven't decided yet. And this is not touching, so I can add that there. I want to change like the order of what colors are next to what colors. Let's see if this is too similar. It's a bit different. Okay. So I'm getting a lot of different combinations of different colors that are next to each other. If that made sense. Okay, so now I'm going to come in with, I'm looking at my yellows. I'm going to come in with a cool yellow. So I have this yellow, and I just want to see how this looks. Is that too much? I'm thinking to myself, I'm not asking you. I'm like, this is what I would think to myself when I'm doing that. Is the yellow too variant, like away from the greens? That's what I'm thinking. Let me try one more. It's okay, I think. Let's see. It may be too much. Let's leave this, let me do one more, and then I'm going to leave this alone for a minute and look into the flowers. So I probably want some reds, some oranges, maybe some violets, and some pinks. So let's start with this middle one. I'm just getting a couple different reds and red violets. Some pinks. I'm going to do the center violet. I'm testing these since I don't really know what color they are. I'm kind of testing them over here. Okay, so the center is going to be purple. Okay, and then I'm going to go red violet around that. And I'm thinking to myself, did I put too many lines on this? Is it too much? So I'm going to go bigger with this first shape. And I'm going to alternate because I don't want these two colors touching each other. Let's go here. Okay, so now I'm going to, let's check these reds out. There's another red. I'm looking for, I'm just testing out the markers to see what color they are. Red, red. Red. I'm looking for something that's a bit more pink, but I don't know if I have one. Hold on. If not, I want like a hot pink. Let me just look one more time, sorry. With the first one. So let's see what this looks like. That's not a hot pink, that's a bright red. But you know what? We'll see how it looks. So this is a family of analogous colors, and I'm trying to do the same here. I'm kind of making these shapes I initially put in larger. They seem too tiny. Okay, let's see. Let me check out the lighter colors I have. And 3. Okay, just 1 and 2. Let's see what color this is. Yeah, that can go right here. All right, so let me get the eraser. Again, as you can see, this is a time-consuming process. This is a Copic, which is a really nice marker that's like a paintbrush. I don't have that many of those. Since these colors are not touching, I'm just putting them on pretty much every petal. Whoops. All right, I need to go with let's see, let's try this for a second. I'm just trying something else. No, that's way too dark. Okay. Let's go with this. Is that too similar? That's too similar. No, that's a no. Okay, let's try this. I'm gonna go back into red for a second. This is a bit of a deeper red. Which probably should have had the deeper red in the middle. Maybe I'll go over that with the deeper red. So this is a cooler red. This is a warmer red. I'm gonna go ahead and go over it. Okay. Whoopsie. I just kind of went outside of the outlines of where the flower was. Let's do this. And this. Sorry, there's like there's noise outside. I don't know if you can hear it. Okay. Now, let me go back to this for a second. It's going to be outlined in black. And here, okay. I'm just seeing what I have here. What does this look like? No. Oh, I have a light pink. Let me see how that looks. Let me just try it. No, I don't like that. Let's try this. Yeah, I like that. It's more of an orangey pink. So again, you're trying out colors next, or if you're using color, you may not be using color, but you try them out and they may not work out. You know what I mean? So you have to kind of change them. And let me go back to this one. And I'm already at 25 minutes. So this is going to take me a while. These are going to be outlined, so they really pop out. So I'm going to try to block in a lot of the flowers first, and then look for these shapes around the flowers. Like, I don't want to make it, I feel like I have the tendency to kind of make things a bit too busy. So I don't want to make it too busy because I want the shapes to stand out. And now that I'm adding color to it, that's making them stand out even more, right? So I don't want to overdo it. Again, that's something I've said quite a few times. And let's see, I'm just thinking of different colors that I might use. This one is going to be reds as well. So like, here's reds. I'm thinking this one orange, maybe this one orange, but this one again reds, right? Because like, this is red. I don't know if I want a red touching a red. This one I definitely want maybe oranges. Oops, I forgot something. Hold on. I forgot this little piece. So I'm going to do this one kind of similar to this one. So again, I'm going to start out with the red. That was a blue violet. I'm just changing it to violet. And this here is a red violet. Just looking at it and thinking. That's what I'm doing while I'm gonna have, like, for continuity, I think I'm gonna do all these middle parts of the flowers violet. And they're probably not really violet, they're probably black or yellow or orange, but just to make repetition and some sort of continuity in this image. thinking about colors. So I ended up doing kind of purples. Then I did these big puffs of flower blue to contrast the warm colors. And I'm gonna come in with, I'm not done by any means, and I probably won't finish in this video, but I definitely wanted to outline in black, just to give it some, to make the colors pop out, okay? So that took me about an hour and a half just to do that part of the color. So it took me about a half an hour to sketch before I started, a half an hour to draw in, a half an hour to start the color, and another hour and a half to do the color. So it takes a longer than you might think. Do I like the black lines in the flower, or do I just want to outline? I'm not sure yet. So I'm going to, let me move over to these flowers and outline these petals. And my black is running out. Let me see how it will do if I use the other. If this is too big. No, this is all right. So these markers are not like, they're kind of cheap, so they run out kind of fast. I mean, I got, I'm going to say at least 20 good drawings out of them. And I wasn't using the marker the whole time, but that's the difference between buying something cheap and buying something expensive. So now they're kind of not, they're running out. Do I think it looks, am I messing it up or making it better with the black outline? That's what I'm asking myself right now. But I already started it, so I can't take it back. I'm actually gonna at least outline the outsides of these. Like I'm still trying to figure out if the black outline is making it better or worse. There's nothing I can do about it now, but like do I like the petals just like this, or do I want the black lines in them? That's another thing I'm trying to figure out. I don't know. I'm just taking a look at it and seeing how the black lines are either helping or harming, right? I don't know if I want to do like every black line inside each shape, but I do want to outline the shapes. I'm stopping, take a look at it, just kind of get a feel for it as a whole. In a way, I feel that the black lines kind of took away from it, but there's no going back now. I made these flowers kind of poppy and unrealistic colors. Yeah, it looks okay. It took me a long time just to do this. I mean, this seems really simple, but what I'm trying to portray to you is it takes a long time to do something that looks really simple, right? It takes a lot longer than you might imagine. And then you may do something and then restart it. So that takes another, long amount of time. This marker is kind of running out. I know I already took up about an hour of video, an hour and a half already, so I don't want to go too long, but let me just finish a bit more. So what I'm thinking here is I want the colors to pop out. So I'm perhaps thinking about a black bound. To really make them pop out. I haven't done the bee and I haven't, so the pot I did in colored pencil, I do want to outline the pot as well. This is running out. Hold on. Let me see. That's actually not a black, it's a dark gray. But let me see if I can get another dark gray. Because the black I've just, oh, that's a blue. No, that's not. Hold on. to see how this, so I would outline the pot. I outlined most of the flowers, but I just want to see what this looks like as a brown for the pot. So the pot needs work. I did a light, but I want to kind of make the edges a bit darker. And I'm going to use this brown for it. So I want to have a couple different browns on the pot. So this is a brush marker. This is like the Copic, but this is a Blick Studio. It's probably a cheaper brand. And it's like a paintbrush. They're pretty nice. And the Blick ones are not, they're not as expensive as the Copic. The Copic are really nice and they're pretty expensive. These other ones I have are really cheap. They're not Blick or Copic. And they don't have a brush. Okay, so let's go here with the darker color. So I'm definitely mixing media on this. So basically I'm thinking, let me try the black again, or the dark gray. Sometimes it just needs a minute to like kind of rest and get more water into the tip. So basically what I'm thinking, wow, is actually, I'm thinking of doing a black background, but then having it maybe fade into blue, like the sky. And I'm thinking of the table being like different browns, orange browns. And I don't know if I want to add more. I was thinking like butterflies, but I think I don't want to make it too busy. But since I'm at my table and I have my ink right here, I'm gonna go ahead and just use the ink to block in the black for the background. That way I don't have to worry about a marker running out. Again, this is mixing media. I'm probably not gonna have the black go all the way, like I'm gonna probably I'm imagining it bleeding out, being right outside of the pot and bleeding into maybe a blue for the sky. But let's just get the black around it and see how that looks. This is not a watercolor paper, so it's kind of probably gonna warp the paper. I'm already liking the way the way it's standing out more against the black than the white. Yeah, I like the black around it. It's helping the design stand out. And this is, again, I told you I'm more from a drawing painting background, so this is a design that's, my design work that I'm showing you is kind of based on that, but some people might be from like a digital background, right? So that would be something that would feature strongly in their design work. And I do like the way it looks against the black. It helps it stand out. So I'm gonna do as much as I can, but again, I can't make this video too long. I've already gone over, so I've already gone over an hour and a half, so just imagine how it would look when it is, oops, I got some on my hand, when it is finished. So I would definitely be doing something with the table. I have a fallen flower on the table. I have this bee to finish, and I want to have the black perhaps bleed into a blue. I'm not sure yet. Just want you to see how much that black like brightens it and makes it pop out. And then here's the table. I have a fallen flower down here that I haven't done yet. Just wanted to add to the monotony of just like the square shape. Okay, and some more of this. Okay, so I mean, I'm probably gonna stop around here, but I hope that, I think that gives you a good enough idea for a starting place.